And with that, Packer fans, the Green Bay Packers are 2-1. The Saints utterly freaking collapsed. One of the worst collapses I've seen in a while. And the Packers are now 2-1, which is great. Now they keep pace with the Lions ahead of a big Thursday night matchup with the said Lions, which is the game I will be going at and will be covering and sending out videos as well. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Like, share, subscribe, all of that. YouTube wants me to do it, so I do it. And it's just a simple click for you, but it means the world to me. So let's get into the game. Now, the way this game started, you would have thought there's no way they have a chance to win, especially with all the injuries they had today. I mean, Elton Jenkins, um, Jair Alexander, Christian Watson, Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari. I mean, you would have thought there's no way they could possibly win this game. I mean, they have a chance just because this new young team always give the young team a chance, and they did not show it early on. They looked anything but ready to go. They looked terrible. While Derek Carr didn't look great, they were able to move the ball. He took chances and were able to get a couple big plays. Scored a couple touchdowns and got up to a big 17-0 lead. Now, maybe you can say there's an asterisk on this game because Derek Carr went out, and then you turn to Jameis Winston and you're like, wow. If you're a Saints fan like I am, or I was rooting for the Packers fans like I always do. I always root for the Packers fans over another team. But I mean, if from a Saints perspective, you had to have thought, wow, Jameis Winston going in, boy, that's bad luck. That's really bad luck because he is a terrible quarterback. I can't believe he's even still in the league. He just tried to play not to lose instead of trying to win, and that's where they failed. Now, of course, you could also say there was that PI call again at the end on the Packers' first touchdown drive, where it's just like it was such a weak call. Probably shouldn't have been PI. There were many other opportunities where they could have called a PI, but they didn't. They chose that one of all games. They chose that one when the game was on the line and game was getting closer. That's the time you call the pass interference, and that's why fans hate the pass interference penalty because it's just like there's so many opportunities to throw it, but then the refs throw it when the game is on the line, the game is closing out, and it's such a game altering move. Now the Saints did shoot themselves in the foot with a couple other penalties down the line that were definitely penalties, but that one against Alante was, at the very least, you could say suspicious, if not just awful. Now the Packers came back, and there's several play calling mistakes. They was just like, what are they doing? I mean, to start off with, you have that trickery play on the fourth down, where it's just what a disaster. Then it's just doomed to fail, and it set up the Saints for their first touchdown drive. It's just like, what are they thinking? But let's talk about some real positives. Jordan Love played better towards the end. Up until the third quarter, he was not doing well. He was getting better, but he did get a couple of great touchdowns in the fourth quarter. He was getting the open ball. That 24-yard run that he had where the Saints just gave up. I mean, the Saints just kind of gave up in this game. I mean, that play specifically shows that the Saints gave up because Jordan was clearly not out of bounds yet. But Marcus Lattimore let up, and he just got another 10 to 15 yards. It's just like, what are you doing? And unless he's out of bounds, don't stop. Keep playing until the whistle. And they just let up, and it doesn't make any sense why they let up. But, I mean, A.J. Dillon, again, he just doesn't look great. He had a couple good runs in this one, but to be honest, I don't see how there's any way he's going to get a big contract, that's for sure. And he's just like, he's a great personality, but he just looks slow at times. And although he can bull rush his way through, he just seems to be cut out from under him all the time. I still like AJ Dillon as a person, but as a player, he's losing confidence. Patrick Taylor, when he came in, he was able to run the ball pretty well. Manuel Wilson had a run or two as well. It's just like you have better options than AJ Dillon. Maybe switch it up a little bit. As long as Aaron Jones is out, you might as well switch it up a little bit more instead of just pounding the rock with AJ Dillon and not getting anything. Things need to change there. Jaden Reed could have had a a big touchdown reception late in the game. Now the Packers did win, but that play where Jaden Reed caught the ball, like he caught the ball, his butt was on the ground, he maintained possession for 3 minutes, and then all of a sudden it gets knocked out by a foot, and it's just like, I think they could have won the challenge. I think they could have thrown the challenge flag and they could have won the challenge. But regardless, the Packers still won. There's still things to work on, of course, because man, the Packers defense was not great at times, except for Sean Gary, who Kenny Clark said before the game he would have a great game, and sure enough, he has 3 huge sacks. I mean, they came at pivotal moments, especially that last one that was huge. A huge time to have a sack. It was great to see. Good things moving forward for the Packers. Hopefully, Aaron sounds like Aaron Jones was ready to play today, just probably didn't think he was up to it. So hopefully he'll be ready for Thursday's game. Um, Devondre Campbell went out with an ankle injury, and Carrington Valentine went out with an injury as well. Hopefully Campbell is able to play, but I have my doubts with the short week. Same thing with Carrington Valentine, but hopefully Bakhtiari is able to come back. And who knows if what we're gonna get with Christian Watson this year. He hasn't played a lot. He had a 4 game stretch last year that was really great, but Packers have Romeo Doubs, and he's been there, and he's been great. He's looked great. He's looked the part this year. He looks like a bona fide good wide receiver, and I think it's starting to look like maybe Dobbs should be considered the #1 receiving threat and not Christian Watson, just because Christian Watson has not played a lot of games. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to keep considering him the #1 option when he doesn't play a lot. Jordan Love made some bad throws today, but like I said, the fourth quarter he got better. He was able to read his reads and get the ball down the field. His deep ball got a little better towards the end. That touchdown to Romeo Doubs was really great. Was a really great throw and catch as well. It was just so many good things. But I think again we can maybe put an asterisk on this game a little bit because the Saints just look completely different after Derek Carr went out. Hopefully he's not injured long term because it's a shoulder injury, so hopefully it's not really bad. But man, it just took the life out of the Saints after he went out. I mean, they're a completely different team. Their defense just didn't look the same. They were just committing penalties or panicking, and ultimately they lost the game. Now they had the chance to win the game with the field goal, and Groupie just pushed it a little bit right too much, and as a result, the Packers were able to just knee the ball down and win the game. Lots of good things to look forward to in the future. Again, it was a great win. I mean, you take the win however you can get it, even if they didn't play their best, but it was a great game and a big game this week against the Lions on Thursday night. Will probably go a long way deciding who wins this division because after the Vikings lost today, and I'm sure the Bears are going to lose against the Chiefs as well. I do not expect the Bears to win that game. Yeah, yeah. Anybody that picked the Bears to beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, wow, you're must be a very, very, very over enthusiastic Bears fan to believe that. But it was a great game nonetheless, despite the loss, or I mean, despite not playing well at times. It's a good game all around. Lots of things to improve on, but Jordan Love is making more and more people forget that Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback. Well, not forget him completely, but just like moving on. We have a new era. We have a good young quarterback. He looks great. He hasn't looked great at times, but more times than not, he's come through. And especially after the collapse of what was last week against Falcons, to come back in the fashion that they did this week is a really great sign. And hopefully we keep seeing more good things in the future. But let me know what you think of the video. Comment, share, all of that. But have a great day, and as always, God bless and go Pack Go.